Welcome to Network Today. We're here to take you from meeting people to
making money.
That's right. Faster. I'm Sheryl Powers.
I'm Rob Bliss.
And this is going to be a good one specifically for this episode for those who are in crowded markets. It's all about breaking through. So, for instance, insurance professionals, crowded market, wealth managers, people in banking, financials. Are there some others that you can think of? Real estate?
Real estate. There's so many. I mean, I think we're all in a crowded space. No matter what you sell out there, you've got 1,000 competitors. And I think this is why this episode today is really good.
Well, now, okay. I got to ask a question to that one.
Okay.
That 1,000 competitors, because what I feel you do so well is that you say nobody's really a competitor of yours. Like you embrace everybody as a complementary kind of a synergy partner, even if they're a head-to-head competitor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But the reason, I shared that 1,000 people for the audience because, again, it's changing the networking mindset. I was there. I was always worried about my competition. I got lots of it. Everybody sells phone systems. Everybody's marketing. Oh, my gosh, what am I going to do? But when you change the networking mindset and you can begin about looking at your competition as collaborating with people, sharing ideas, just learning, it can be a very positive thing.
Well, yes, it can. Absolutely. And but I do think some of the industries are more compressed than others.
Yeah.
So, and I just take that because coming out of advertising, everybody was in advertising back, but it's like kind of like when you go buy a Honda, you go, okay, I'm looking at a black Honda. Now I'm driving down the road in my Volvo, but it looks like everybody else is driving a Honda. So I think we feel like our markets, our respective markets are hyper compressed.
Yeah. I think, I think for me, when I go to networking meetings and so on, I think the two most people that I run into is insurance agents and financial planners.
Yes.
I think those two categories have the hardest stance when they're going to try to meet people when it's, I already know financial planner. I already have an insurance agent. They got it tough.
And bankers. Good golly. Love them all. Love them all. But what's so beautiful about this is that this episode is all about breaking through when you're in those industries or feel like you don't want to be in a room with head-to-head competitors, but you want to differentiate yourself. So my word of the week is differentiators, right?
Okay.
Be a differentiator. And JJ, our guest, is just the epitome of breaking out. And you would have never guessed the industry that he's in based on how he operates.
Absolutely.
Because he's just so standout. And the theme of the year is networking stop. Because we don't want you to network anymore the way any of us have networked. We're all guilty.
Yes.
We're all offenders. So let's change the way we network, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then, JJ, again, he hit it out of the ballpark because, again, he talked about and how he's trying to stand out from the crowd is personal relationships. And the emphasis was building those relationships.
Yeah.
Not even talking about what he does. It's just seeing, I kind of think it's kind of like saying, is this someone he wants to do business with?
Yeah.
Can he help this person? Does this person need help? So he's more concerned about them. He doesn't even talk about what he does. So I really liked his approach from that end.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting that you're saying that because I think that's right. What's congruent with the theme of this episode, breaking through, and what you're talking about, and that's having real conversations and finding out who you want to do business with is actually it's kind of like an interviewing style. So instead of hoping everybody's going to be my customer and they're all going to throw money at me, instead moving to a different perspective and saying, hey, I want to have a conversation with you to see if we're compatible, to see if I even want to do business with you,
absolutely.
Whether it's, one way or another. So that is changing the networking mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
he was the epitome of it.
That's right. So we've got a great guest. You're going to love him. It's going to be totally different than any financial advisor you've ever heard from. And before that, we're going to talk about a Grand Slam.
Yes, we are.
You got one?
I've got one. I'm ready. I'm in the batter's box, ready to knock it out of the ballpark.
Okay, all right. So when we come back.
Are you having trouble with your VoIP phone system? Smart Office USA to the rescue. We're a local company here in DFW with real people, certified technicians, and we even come to your office to help you. Smart Office USA, representing the #1 VoIP phone system on the planet. And we are right here in DFW, ready to help you. Call us 214-272-0921 or go to www.smartofficeusa.com.
And it's time.
Okay, I'm excited because, again, this was about a good friend of ours that's been on the show. I've done some business with him. I've hired him. See him a lot at our networking events. And I got a call from Paul Hittner last week, and he wanted to invite me to be a guest speaker at his networking event, DFW ProNet.
Awesome.
And I thought, and again, that's one of those things like we're talking about of standing out, breaking through is one of the things to do is, to become a public speaker, get yourself out there, expose yourself to the community or other networkers. And so I was really honored that Paul asked me to come to the group. He wants me to talk about networking, and he's a fan of Network Today. And again, that's something that we're doing to help our businesses, Sheryl, break through and stand out. And so, so it's really kind of cool that he reached out and picked a topic, which I happen to have just a PowerPoint ready to do. So in a couple of weeks, I'm going to invite you, Sheryl, to come listen to, come to DFW ProNet, which, you know quite a few of the people there already. But so it's going to be a fun time. And I want to thank Paul and again, encourage people to look up DFW ProNet on Meetup.
Well, you can go to empoweredadvantage.com too, because I put it on our event calendar.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's the first and third Thursday of each month. And so this is funny, and you might not remember this, but how do I know Paul?
How do you know Paul?
Okay, let me help you. So we don't waste our 35 minutes while you're trying to go back, because there's so many connection points, right?
Right.
So Jeff Weaver, as we've talked about several times, has introduced us. Then you said, I'm going to take you to a networking event up at the IHOP at MacArthur and 635.
Yes. Okay, I remember
That's
that.
how I met Paul. Was meeting you there for that early morning breakfast that I had to leave at like 6:15 in the morning for. But hey, oh well. So the coffee was good. And that's how I met Paul.
Wow.
Yeah, and Victor and some other people. I mean, just such a super cool connection. You never know.
You never know. Absolutely.
Know. Okay, so I feel like networking, people are like, I'm tired of networking, or I know everybody in the room. Okay. You might. But when you're consistently delivering on connecting people, posting, making sure you're tagging people in those posts, creating events, let me tell you, the reason the marketer in me says do it is because it's marketing. It's marketing 101. And truly, it takes time, but it doesn't take money.
Right, exactly.
If you're careful about it, it doesn't take money. So the reason I'm saying this is because all of the events that I like to put together, people are like, Sheryl, how do you have time to do it? And I said, well, because I don't have kids. That's first. If I did, I wouldn't be doing that. I feel like networking is my kid, right? I'm taking him to soccer and dance and whatever. So I get an email out of the blue from Gerald McAdoo.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't seen Gerald in, I don't know, quite some time. But here's, I don't know if I pulled this up. Maybe I do have it right here.
Yeah, so, I just ran into Gerald last week at Tom Bronson's book launch, and I hadn't seen him in a few months. So we're connecting again. So again, to your point,
you never know. So here's what he emailed me back a week or so ago. Hey, Happy New Year, Sheryl. Been a while since we last chatted. I hope your New Year's off to a great start. Giving all your events around town, I'm hoping you can help me put together a short list of locations to consider. And then he goes through the list of his criteria. The reason I say that is because I was able to refer him to 3 locations of people that I want to support. They might be a client or work with clients, right? So all of this fuels your business on some level.
Yes.
So I was able to send him obviously to TK's, to another restaurant, and then over to Carolyn Pelt's Hexa location. Right. And so all of that, although, and what does it take me? 60 seconds to draft the email, to make the introductions.
Yeah.
But now I'm able to continually market myself to these people.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing that, then Gerald's reaching out to somebody else and I'm not the touch point.
Right.
Now he at least thinks of me. So-
That's a great point that you're saying there. You're the touch point, and that's what we got really, emphasized to people is that it's not just that first, you expect I got to get something right away from that person. It could come later, and everyone you need to be patient, but
Yes.
make the touch points.
Yes. Yeah. So I was super excited about that when I saw his email come up. And I'm happy to help. Right?
Exactly.
And coming up next, the vivacious, the outstanding Checki when we come back. Let's face it, employees waste time on the company dime. Why? Life's complicated. We help keep the junk of life out of the workplace and in the hands of the experts. Empowered Advantage, empowering employees, giving businesses the advantage. Letter M as in magnificent, poweredadvantage.com. All right, Checki made it as our guest. I'm so excited. This is like, we're like a little touch and go, right?
Yes, it was.
But it happened.
Thank you for having me.
It happened. It was a divine appointment.
Yes.
So it was meant to happen. And I think this is a great topic, a great and perfect for you because you are a standout guy in this. So breaking through how to build a network in a crowded industry, it is one of the hardest things for people to do when they start out networking.
Yes.
And one of the most important things to do, because again, as solopreneurs, there's always 100 people doing what we're doing. So it is, like they say, it's in a crowded space. So what do we have to do to break through? I love this topic.
I do too. So before we dive into that, J, period, J, and then spell Checki.
Checki, Checki, and I'm the third.
So you're going to see 3 I's after that.
Yes, that is correct.
And if you look for him on LinkedIn, for me, you have to put the J, period, J.
Possibly. Checki will help you, though. Checki, that'll help you a lot.
There aren't more Checkis?
There's not a whole lot of Checkis.
Okay.
Misspelled Italian.
All right. That's funny. We have this Italian theme thing going on with our guests.
I know.
Yes, that's right. So, and he's been in securities for 10 years and then as a financial advisor for the last 3.
That's correct.
Right? With your
Yes, that is correct. Yes, John J. Checki Jr. You look for him.
That's right. And I love that you all tag team.
Thank
right?
you.
That's good. But I'll tell you, one of the things that was really stand out for me was the fact that you're colorful, right? A lot of the financial advisors are not.
Right.
Look at your
Wow. It was very refreshing to meet JJ.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So have you always been like that, or did you have to develop
You know
that?
what? I have always been that way. It's funny, in my family, on at least the Italian side, was always very loud. So I was the quiet one, which was the joke because I'm not quiet, just wasn't as loud. But no, I've always...
It was all relative, right?
Yes, I've always enjoyed people connecting, just to know others, correct?
That's good. That's good. So when we sat down and you said, hey, I wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of how you broke through? So walk us through the journey of how you said, okay, I'm in financials, right?
Yes.
We have to talk to people about money. Nobody wants to talk about money.
Yes.
No,
A lot don't, correct,
so,
yes.
so you have to bring it out of them by breaking the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the journey between you saying, hey, I'm going to get into financials and work with my pop,
Yes.
to then how can I market myself properly
definitely.
through networking events and social media and whatnot?
Well, partially, I'm not sure when I'm supposed to show this, but spend time and save money. But yeah, working with my pop. So a lot of it is a great example from him because he puts videos out nearly every day, if not every single day, on just maybe it's his garden, maybe it's the pool, maybe it's just different things in his life. So it's not finance related, which you'll probably notice if you've seen any of the videos I put out there, is the same thing. There's very little finance related videos I put out. I'm going to start doing a little bit more, so at least I do show that I do know my stuff. But I put very little of that out there on purpose. So you actually have, this is who I am, and you're actually getting to know us as people. So then we're actually, when you're a trusted advisor, it's not the dry, boring guy that talks about numbers only.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's brilliant because truly, when you tell those life stories in little bits, then it's a story that always can lead to and tie to
Yes,
the
opportunities.
financial
Yes.
life, right?
That is correct. So whether it's full court basketball, I'd record videos before I'd play first thing in the morning and just say, love being at the court again today. Have fun and make it a great day. And I would
Mhm.
send that off.
Mhm.
Been playing less of that, but I've been playing pickleball. I need to start recording some videos there, but I
Right.
haven't yet. So just kind of everyday life stuff. My kids say, you just record random stuff and then post it. I said, yeah, I do.
Pretty
Yeah.
Well, you're right on the right track, JJ, because really those are the three principles of marketing is know, like, and trust.
Yes.
You've
Correct.
got to that really to your audience, building that so you can build your community through those three factors.
is
So
correct,
you are
yes.
right on target.
And the interesting thing with that is I have people that I've known for years who reconnect with me social media wise because they now know that I'm a financial advisor. So they'll reconnect and say, hey, I would like to talk with you.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you're friendly 1st.
Mhm.
Correct. Yes.
Right? When
Yes.
somebody thinks, and this is probably one of my biggest pet peeves with working with other networkers who are in financial space or whatever that space, it might be insurance space,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
I'm in the benefit world. And the first thing they want to go to is who can you refer me to that need my
Yes.
services right now? Well, it's not, I don't say, hey, my client or prospect or friend, do you have somebody who would like to look over all your financials? I mean,
Yep.
I got a guy for you. And truly, because that's rarely going to happen. Sometimes it does, but
Yes.
it's typically that fun conversation that you're
correct,
having
yes.
that will draw that out.
Yes. Which was even intentional on the cover we decided for our book is we saw there's some pictures that could have been the cover that was more a picture that didn't represent us.
Right, right.
So we picked something that's fun. It's a family out camping with their dog in the mountains. I mean,
Yeah.
just fun and silly because finances are a serious topic. But if you just are dry and boring about it, no one already wants to talk
Right.
about it, and that just makes it worse.
Yeah, it's a component of life, but you're
Yes.
approaching it from the life start,
yes.
right? And then moving into, okay, this is a component of life that we can help you with.
Yes. Right.
But it makes sense.
So how did you kind of get into developing this breakthrough plan? Was it like intentional where you and your dad were talking about, hey, we've got to come up with a new marketing method, be different, stand out from the crowd type of thing? What started the process?
Yeah, back to what I said a little bit earlier is he just recorded videos all the time. So like that, he was just always putting content out there. Then I realized I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
So then it was a kind of that wake up, by the way. And actually, I need to start putting myself out there more so they'd get to know who I am. Not just, oh yeah, there's John's son is also in the business now, but actually this is who I am and a little bit of my personality and something, my family and things like that.
Okay.
The
So-
pressure's on. When Pop's doing it too.
Yes.
Now, have you done anything okay, now we're in a new year. It's
Yep.
2023. So you
Yes.
had your marketing plan for last
Yep.
year. So are you sitting down? Are we going to be looking for that new approach that you're going to do this
Yes,
year? Or is it going to be the same kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for asking that, Rob. I actually started sharing clips from the book or excerpts from the book and just real bite-sized, small amounts
Okay.
of information to say, hey, here's a good piece of information. It may not be overly complex, but it's something to say, remember, this is something that will benefit you.
Mhm.
And if you would like to know more, get the book or talk to us. The point isn't buying books. The point
Right.
is actually getting to know
Right.
us and
Yeah,
and how we can help.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I think that's really great. I think it's superb that you started out with just the life component, just the everyday stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can connect with people and then begin to extend the invitation beyond that.
Correct. That is a good way to say it. Thank you. Yes, Cheryl.
So how did you build your audience? Did you build it on LinkedIn first? Did you build it through email blasts? Did you build it through business cards that were given to you? How did you build that?
Has a little bit of all of it. So a lot of it LinkedIn, just connections from other people. Even someone who's in the studio today was through connections through other LinkedIn connections. And then also in person, definitely networking events as I'm able to do that. When things went virtual a few years ago, same thing. Just I would write down everyone's name from a big Zoom networking group, and then
Yeah.
I'll just start connecting them one-on-one through LinkedIn and schedule one-on-ones through that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just being intentional. It's an
Yes.
organic process, but it's a process.
Yes, it
And you've
is.
worked through that process. And I think that's one of the ongoing threads, Rob, that the successful people, those who are successful in networking, are intentional
Mm-hmm.
and they work through the details that a lot of people don't want to work through.
Yes, it's definitely.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah, something that we're, JJ, that we're starting to do at Purple Cow Branding is, we're trying to create that wow experience. Going beyond that initial, once we've kind of captured them
Yes.
into our community, is how do we then keep them there?
Mhm.
And so that is a big focus on us right now. Are you doing anything in that area.
Yeah, definitely. One of the areas that made me think of with that is that we connect people with other areas of their own interest, like sometimes it's on the professional management side where they need an attorney or a CPA, things like that.
Right.
And we introduce others that way, but also just other fun stuff. So my family and I used to have an American Ninja Warrior, or excuse me, a Ninja Warrior course in our backyard.
Okay.
Some obstacles in the backyard. And I started talking about it with one of our clients, and she says, I would love to have that in the new home I'm building for my grandson. And of course, then I started thinking about it. We trained there for the actual one of the gyms in Frisco for a while. And I know some of the people who work out there. And one of the guy, I know a guy,
Right.
was someone who now builds those for people in their homes, in their
Oh
backyards,
my
for
God.
everything like that. So literally, I told her, I said, when you're ready, I know someone that you can talk to. So even a Ninja Warrior course for her backyard.
Oh, that's great.
See, isn't that beautiful though? Because networking isn't just a straight line.
Yes.
Rarely is it a straight. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you get lucky, but it's typically an obstacle course.
Yes.
We need to have a whole like obstacle course and networking institute or something because I mean the whole networking ninja thing. Because I think that's really fascinating. But you're approaching it from the right standpoint, from the right viewpoint. So you're giving first. You're providing information. You're creating an environment of friendliness, and then you're making yourself available. But now the door's more open. Then it's like, oh my gosh, they're going to sell me something, right?
Correct.
They
Yes.
want to open my books. Ah!
The first message you get when someone connects and it says, how can we do business together now, essentially? It's like,
Right.
Yeah.
who are you?
Yeah, I know. Oh, it makes me crazy. I actually respond to those on LinkedIn. I actually say, I mean, like, really? Do you really think we're going to do some business here? Why don't you get to know me first? I would say, go to my website, take a look at my profile, and then
Yes.
let's schedule some actual visit.
Yes.
Never hear from them again.
I sometimes just unfriend right away. So like if that's hello,
Yeah, that's it. Then I don't want to hear anything beyond that. That's super good. You're going to say something, Rob?
Nope, I'm good.
Oh, really?
Yep,
What?
I'm good. I'm enjoying the conversation here.
That's right. So I have a question here before we
Yes.
wrap this part up, because I'm sure that there will be a part 2 at some other juncture. When you have other professionals that are in crowded spaces
Mhm.
that maybe you want to help coach them a little or provide some advice, or maybe they ask for advice. What do
Yes.
you give somebody who's in a crowded space in regards to maybe a map or first steps to begin to break through?
Yes, definitely. That's it's interesting because I go twofold of that. One, a professional who's already in the industry. Another one, I was introduced to a high school student actually that wants to study finance and then the type of arena, wealth management type arena for himself. So he's actually doing, it's not an internship, but he's got like a sponsor and someone to train him and teach him some things from the business.
Right.
So I was selected or whatever. He decided to choose me on that. So I'm actually it'll begin, the semester just started, so it hadn't happened yet, but it's this semester it's starting to actually be able to mentor him some level in the profession. So very excited and daunting at the same time.
Wow.
So, and then the other side on the professional side is encourage them to find what area that the people, find their people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's for us, you have to be, you have to have a personality, like to laugh, you like to have fun. Those are important. I mean, if you just want a dry, boring advisor,
You're not the person.
we're not the people for you.
Don't call JJ.
So, yes, but if you like that fun, you like to live life, you like to travel and things like that. And some of them, my pop does more of those things, and I do other things. I'm more into sports here, though he played a lot over the years. But yeah, just find your people and then connect. Just continue to follow up, as you mentioned earlier. That's an important thing. Is you connect with someone, either another professional or a potential client, is make sure you contact them. Send a thank you note, a physical thank you note that they can actually feel and receive. So things are big.
Now, with all the networking you do, JJ, obviously you're going to run into other financial planners and so
definitely.
on. Do you approach from a point of view of how you can collaborate together? Let's get together for a cup of coffee and see what our interests are, how we can help one another. Is that something you do?
That's something I have done before. A lot of times you feel that from hello. Like I was in an event, I think it was this week, that literally I said of a financial advisor, and he was in the insurance space, which we also provide, but he was in the insurance space, and it seemed like his disposition changed just when I said I'm a financial advisor. Like, hey, so grabbing a cup of coffee with him wouldn't make a lot of sense because he's already like,
Yeah, right.
But for others who are like, oh, okay, tell me about what you do or how you work with your
Right.
clients or differences, thing like that. I have spent time there. I'm willing to spend time there because it's someone who's open to learn, not just
There
someone who
you
goes,
go.
oh, we're in the same business, and then
Right.
gives you that look.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, and most financial advisors that I talk to have when you really drill down, so first they'll say, "Oh, I'll work with everybody, anywhere, anytime."
Yeah.
Like, and just like, but when you really drill down and you find where their passion is,
Yes.
like the nuggets in their life that really led them to where they are, you find
Yes.
out that maybe it's single parents who are 33 who find themselves with 2 kids that they didn't plan for, right? So, and then that's a niche.
Yes.
Maybe a niche that another financial advisor wouldn't want to fill.
Definitely.
So, having yes in your heart, being open to conversations,
Yes.
so important.
Yes, definitely. Thank
I
you.
love this. Okay, ways to connect with you.
Yes, LinkedIn. Also, obviously, have Facebook. So I put a lot of personal stuff out
Okay.
there. So Facebook. JJ Checki, Checki. On LinkedIn, Facebook are the main 2 I use.
Okay, website.
Website, checkifinancial.com. So Checki again,
That's right. That's right.
financial.com.
But you'll
So,
love his
yes.
little videos. I love the little video shorts.
Thank you. Yes.
I think those are awesome. A little known fact, and maybe you've laid it all out here on the
I don't
table,
know.
but a little known fact about yourself that would surprise us.
I played roller hockey in college.
Ooh.
So roller hockey in college, there was a club team that traveled and played at other colleges.
Oh, my
And even
God.
went to nationals one year. So in Tampa, Florida, or outside of Tampa.
Wow.
So, yep. So
I
not the
love
biggest
roller
guy,
hockey.
but yet played hockey for
Yeah.
a number of years and some other sports as well.
It's about what you do with what you have.
Yeah, correct.
That's
Yes, definitely.
awesome. Yeah, just ask Tattoo or who was that soccer player who was
Oh,
like,
yep.
yeah, so
Dallas for a long time. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
that's right. So this is good. Oh my gosh,
Oh.
I love this conversation. So, JJ, we'll have a part 2.
Yes, I look
Sometime
forward
soon.
to it.
All right. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with your marketing as
Thank
you
you.
roll out, as you continue to go through 2023. And we will be back. So who would have thought talking to a financial guy who had another 10 years of security experience would be fun?
So much fun. I
I
mean, come
know.
on. I mean, he's like the first guy that, could crack jokes. He was fun,
Yeah.
friendly, outgoing. I mean, I loved him.
He has a ninja course in his backyard. What?
Man.
I know. So I'm gonna coin this new phrase, financial. He's a financial.
He's a financial. I like that.
I know. Financial advisor.
That is so cool.
That's right. So what were some of the standout points that he brought up that you're like, ooh, I like that?
Well, I mean, I think the thing I really liked about JJ was that just he is kind of a marketing guy.
Yeah.
And he is in a difficult industry when it comes to marketing and when you go to networking groups, you meet these boring financial guys. And the thing that I think my biggest takeaway was the fact that he wants to get to know you first.
Yeah.
Most financial guys is, they want to go right for the juggler.
You know what they're looking at? Let's see. I want to see what kind of watch you have
Yeah.
because that might determine what your net worth is.
No, exactly. But JJ, he's so sincere.
Mhm.
It's like you always say, love from the heart. He cares about you, and that's I think the biggest thing I got from it. And I feel now I want to get to know him better because now I can say I've got a financial guy in my community, in my inner circle that I can refer out to.
Yeah. So breaking through that very highly dense area of financials in networking helps you break out your business.
yeah.
Right. So I felt like for me, the fact that he leads with life items first
Mhm.
that later on lead to business potentially.
Right.
Right. And that's a long-term game and a lot of people aren't up for it, but it's the right game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the present he gave us, the
I
gift from
know.
JJ, spend time and save money, which is going into, well, actually, I got to say, I met him a little while ago and I bought his book and it's in Rob's library right now. So this will be another great addition.
Now you have a giveaway.
Yeah, I got a giveaway right now. Absolutely.
That's right. It also makes me wonder how we help professionals who are in networking and they don't have that same kind of personality to break out, right? So the things that he does, and I don't know that we really kind of isolated this, but he wrote a book, right? He does his little video shorts,
Right.
which are ongoing. Did he say they do them daily? I think it's daily.
Daily.
I think I
Yeah,
see them
daily.
ongoing daily. And then he's involved in a lot of other activities and he finds other ways to connect with people and connect other people together. So those 3 systems.
Right.
It makes me wonder when we meet a professional who doesn't have that same kind of personality or drive, like they're just kind of, they think they're just charged with signing up a new customer today.
Right.
how do we help them get into more of the JJ lane? How do we help them develop a personality? I guess that's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, that's a great question because I think right now the way to approach your networking is exactly what JJ is doing in his strategy, and the way to, again, the way to help people is just really, have them listen to this podcast and learn from JJ because I mean, it's not just financial planners. We're all in spaces that are overcrowded. It's
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah.
And so we've really got to drill down and develop that, like what you said earlier, the life experience, talking about life and how people live their
Yeah.
lives
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Because again, and we all know that networking still is a numbers game. And the whole thing about it is to get real people in your
Yeah.
community. And then, like I said, JJ, now I want to get to know him better. I want to be able to bring him into my community so that, again, I can bring value back to my community.
Yeah. That's a brilliant point. Here's what I'd like to see. Okay, so JJ, if you're watching this, connect with Paul Hittner. Remember Paul and his core story?
Right.
I think it's brilliant. And you know what, JJ, you could do? Not that you don't have enough to do, but create a system to help people break through, right?
Right.
And then to break out their business
Right.
by being different, by leading with life first.
Right.
With their story, because Paul's a brilliant storyteller and JJ's an example of somebody in what could be a dry, dusty industry
Right.
that he's brought to life.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that could be really great. I think that could be a great training module. So just a thought, right? Like you don't have enough to do. But this was so good. And it's one of the top problems that I see with networkers is that they can't pull the facade, the sales, financial, insurance. What are a couple of the other areas that I see? Banking, right?
Right.
So things that have to do with money and death.
Yeah.
Those are probably the two areas that I see people just like they're wooden. So feel free to like loosen up a little, have some fun, be a JJ. So can't wait to continue that discussion.
A small business is still a business. At Purple Cow Branding, we want to help you execute your greatest visions for your company. Purple Cow works for small businesses that don't have big budgets to spend on their marketing efforts. Inquire now at purpleCowBranding.com to be the biggest little guy around. Purple Cow Branding, much more than digital marketing.
I'll never look at financial advisors the same after knowing JJ.
Well, yeah, JJ stands out.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he's doing exactly what our topic is, a breakthrough, and and he's such a funny guy too.
Yeah.
I mean, like we earlier said, you wouldn't know that he was just your typical financial advisor.
Yeah. So if all you learn to do is smile, like JJ, there would be a great differentiator between you and others in a crowded market. All right, so let's make sure. I wanted to read this. This is a great article from bizjournals.com.
Okay.
And this is actually from July 2015. And so if you want to know where I find these articles, I've Googled, I think, networking, how to break through in a crowded space in networking. That's what I put in. And you have to be careful when you put in networking because you get all this software stuff.
Right. You get the computer
like the tech stuff.
You get the
techie
stuff.
So you have to kind of be careful how you do it. But this was a really interesting article, I thought, because it talked about how to break through. And he says here, so if you're a marketer, today's marketplace is a crowded place. It seems like everybody wants to do a blog or a podcast. This is 2015, right? And he says, but how do you stand out, be compelling without being obnoxious? And you know what reminded me of? I hope I can say it here So feel free to say, no, Sheryl. But my first manager, Dennis Grancolis, when I was in radio, he would talk about radio advertising, right? Because we're talking about advertising, you're marketing yourself. And he said, you know what? I could stand in a corner and pass gas and everybody would stop and notice me, but it doesn't sell you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they're talking about here is don't be obnoxious or pushy because that might break you out of a crowded industry. However, it's not going to sell anybody on doing business
Right.
with you or
Yeah.
even wanting to get to know you. So I hope that wasn't too obnoxious. I hope that wasn't over the
No,
top.
you're okay.
Okay, all right.
That's
so,
PG. You're all right.
It is. So a better marketing message to better represent yourself and your business than just something stupid.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, what was that show? Tricks. They used to do stupid stuff. Like, and then they had to pull it. Oh, it was Jack. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Was that the Gong Show?
The Gong Show. That's right, Rob. It's the Gong Show. No, anyway, but just ridiculous stuff, right? So, but we want to be professional, but still stand out.
Yeah.
Hence JJ. But here's a good book that if you want to look it up, they might have an audio version, but it's called Stand Out: How to Find Your Breakthrough Idea and Build a Following Around It. And it's by Dory Clark.
And you can get that book in Rob's library.
What? You have that
I
book too?
Got that book.
Dang. All right. So come on up here and check it out.
There you go.
So I'm super excited. I'm going to check that one out
Cool.
because I think standing out without being ridiculous is hard for some people.
And Dory's a great story because she's a very quiet, introvert college professor at one of the big top schools that she had to learn to stand out. And you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it.
Okay. Good. So we have some action items for today.
You know, we got some action items. You know what we talked about with JJ is, you've got to develop your personal brand. And more important, you got to develop your personal style.
Yeah.
We talk about all these marketing terms and that type of thing. People get kind of like, oh, I can't do that. I can't, it's like showmanship and things of that sort.
Yeah.
But no, I think I want to put on the brakes a little bit and just say, develop your own personal style. Don't be somebody and present yourself somebody that you're not. So that's number one.
That's good. Remember when we interviewed Glenna Hecht?
Yeah.
So, and she talked about, hey, I had to stop trying to be the person in the suit and the pumps. I had to be me.
Yeah.
And that changed the scope of her business.
Yeah. I think one of the things too we talked about, JJ, was, you've got to kind of develop a marketing plan. You got to be intentional about that. You've got to do it. And that's things like, he wrote a book to help himself stand out. So his book is something that is a giveaway. He's not looking to become a New York Times bestseller, but it's information about him. You've got to post regularly on LinkedIn. Maybe a little bit of social media. But the thing about JJ was the book.
Yeah.
Because it talks about, again, all that personal stuff and that he's giving back to his community. So I really enjoyed that. Number 3 is take action on build your community. And JJ, again, was doing an excellent job on that of tracking the people that he meets, developing those personal relationships, those type of things. So I think really those things, develop your own personal style, develop that marketing plan, write a book, get your LinkedIn profile updated, and then build your community.
Well, and so quickly on the build your community, I'd like to drill down just for a minute and give some tips on communities that can be built. Because JJ mentioned what about his backyard?
Oh man, that was really cool. He was into that TV show like American Junior Ninja, turned his backyard into that contest thing. And then he, again, the example was when he met, one of his prospects.
Yeah. So people would come over and they were so enamored by this. And that's really important, I think, when we're talking about breaking through having your differentiator. Find something that's unique. It might be a unique hobby.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I know a gal who used to like to walk and drink wine. So she created a networking group that on Saturday, I need to find her.
Sorry. What's her? Where do they meet at, Cheryl?
That's right. And so they'd walk these town squares and just get on a Saturday.
That'd be so fun.
And then end up at a wine place.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I just burned it off. I might as well drink it down. So I do think that that's a really great point. And build a community, but not just any community. Build a unique community that is you.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I think that's super cool. Mine was a voiceover community. Right. So some of the people that I built in that voiceover community now are really key strategic mentors of mine in business. So years, a dozen years later. So
All right.
Yeah, good points. Good points, my friend. So we don't do this enough, but we need to remind people to join us on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
are we assuming that everybody who tunes in here knows how to access us?
That's right. Very good.
Probably not.
Very good
We
point.
forget. So LinkedIn is primary for me.
Yeah.
And that's Sheryl with an S, Powers as an Austin, in case you're listening and not looking.
Rob Bliss.
As in
it's very
happiness
simple.
is.
Happiness is. Yes.
That's right. We have a Network Today page.
Yes.
And I think you have to put in Network Today podcast in LinkedIn and you'll find it.
Right.
So you can go there, and you can also go to networktodaydfw.com. Please, on the homepage, I have to remind people to do this. Put in, it'll say subscribe.
Yes.
That just means putting your email address in. That's so important because it helps us then to once a week communicate with you.
Yeah.
Then you never have to look for us again. So that's pretty cool. All right. Next week, another great show as we continue the theme of networking. Stop. Right. So we take you from meeting people to
Making money.
faster.
Let's go do it now, Sheryl.
That's right.
This has been a Purple Cow production.